Hi kids, and welcome to a half-assed review and a little bit of a tutorial. I'm going to be looking at the Flow 8. It's a mixer that I bought a little while ago to replace the Yamaha that I was using. I'm going to just tell you why I chose this particular mixer, just go over the channel controls very briefly, tell you about how I use it live, and then I'm going to show you a nice little trick that you can do with it that was a bit unexpected for me. I chose the Flow 8 because it's tiny. It's a small enough size that it will pack in the bag. It's got 8 inputs, 2 stereo inputs which fit me perfectly because I can put the model samples in one and the circuit in another, and then I've got 2 other mono channels and then 2 microphone channels, although you can use a lead to kind of use them as mono channels as well. It's got enough inputs for my 3 item setup and a couple of spares. There's onboard effects, which was quite important to me because things like the Nord Micro Modular is a dry sound, so it needs effects just to elevate and lift it up, and I didn't want to necessarily have another box, although I do really like the NTS-1 and I may take that with me as well. And as well as having the onboard effects, every channel has got 4-part EQ, compressor and a low pass cut. It's basically got everything that you need for a reasonable channel strip, which makes a big difference. Although all of those parameters are only accessed by an app that I use on my phone, and it's more or less a question of setting it up, and once it's set up then you just forget about the dynamics and just use the channel faders while you're using it live. The main output on it has got a limiter, which is amazingly useful if you're doing live stuff, because you know that you're never going to get a signal too hot if you're plugging into somebody else's system. And you've got a 9-band EQ, which I tend to leave flat, but if you just wanted to shape your sound a little bit, then you could use that. Let me just show you a little bit about the controls for using it live. You've got the set faders. You can't touch any of the EQ parameters. You can't touch the compressor or anything else. There's only the fader dials, and that makes it limited in some ways, but it means you have less to worry about and less to think about. And I'm not going to be touching up EQs while I'm playing live anyway. What you've got is 4 buttons down the side here. So these are your channel faders, and while you're in this main here, these set all your levels. So at the moment I've got the NTS-1 is coming in to channel 3. So if I turn that up, you can hear the NTS-1 on channel 3. If you want to put effects on there, although it's got effects already, you would press that, and then these faders automatically become the faders for the effects. So the effects can go up and down, and you've got 1, 2 channels of effects. And if you go back to main, you can see this tells you what the effects are, and I've got a church and a ping pong delay on there. But the real magic for me and the discovery for me was that it's got 2 monitor send outs, and what that means is that for me I can use those as send and sends, and I can return through one of my spare channels. So I've now got access to external effects. So in theory I could have 4 separate effects units, or 4 separate effects, using this mixer. And this is the last unexpected bonus. Because you've got monitor sends, you can do some crazy stuff like send from the monitor into the NTS-1 and then feed that signal back round into channel 3, and then channel 3 send that back into the monitor and create a feedback loop, and that way you can make some magical sounds all on its own. And I'm going to show you that now. So very quickly, I'm going to put it onto monitor 1, which is here, which is sending into the Korg NTS-1. And as I turn up channel 3, which is the NTS's 1 channel, so I'm sending channel 3 out into the NTS-1, and then from the NTS-1 it's going back into channel 3, and I'm recording the results. So here we go. Listen. What you can hear there is the reverb feeding back on itself, and it creates that strange unearthly choir just because the reverb on the NTS-1 is so amazing. But it gets better, because if I turn on the app, I can use the EQ to boost particular frequencies. So okay, so I hope that's given you a very brief overview. That trick with the auxiliary send and return and going back in on itself, you can do that with any mixer which has got sends, and even if you've got aux return, you don't have to put the return channel into an auxiliary return. You can put it back into a desk channel, and in fact that's something that I always do when I'm using mixers. It's one of the prerequisites for getting a mixer for me, is wherever possible I should be able to do that. And yeah, obviously I like to have onboard effects as well because it makes life a bit easier. Right, bit of a different video today. I hope you have enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe because they both help the channel grow. I'm almost at 500 subscribers now, and that would be amazing. So if you think there's somebody else who would like what I do, please spread it around and show it off to other people, and share and enjoy, as they say at the Sirius Cybernetics Corporation. See you later, kids. Bye.